Hey everybody, and welcome to my N5 series on the SP404 mk2, where I cover a topic in about 5 minutes. Monsterism writes in and asks if we can use the sequencer on Koala to send MIDI from Koala's sequencer over to the SP404 mk2, and unfortunately the answer is no, but let me show you a couple things. I'm going to take this USB cable, we're going to plug it right in on the side here, and we're going to go the other way instead. But first thing to note, we plug this in and we're going to get the SP404 mk2 connected. Whoops. Guess I got to unlock my iPad here. All right. We got it unlocked. Hopefully I don't tap the power button on it again. And immediately what we can see is we have taken over the settings on the SP404 mk2. It's using the Koala interface. And what you're going to want to do first is hold Shift and exit. We're just going to exit out of this connection. And that by breaking this connection, we can at least do a few other things a little bit easier. And we can send MIDI from the SP404 mk2 over to Koala. So if I tap the pad here, we can see that it's working. Now, let's go over a couple settings. First, to get this to work, I'm going to hold Shift and Utility. We're going to go into System. We're going to go in the MIDI tab here, and a couple key things you need is you need pad note out set to on. That will allow us to use the pads and send the MIDI over here. You might ask, why would I do this? Why don't I just use the SP404 connection? Well, you're going to want to do this if you want to actually send MIDI sequence data from the SP404 mk2 over to Koala. The other thing that I've done is I've got MIDI mode set to B. That allows us to adjust which MIDI notes are sent over to Koala and like what the notes are. So with MIDI mode B set, I have to go to note offset 28, which is basically going to be pushing all of these notes up 28 semitones, but everything will line up fine. And even it gets a little weird because, for example, if I want to just quickly move sounds from the SP404 mk2 over to Koala, we're in sampler mode. If I just play that note, you can see it was red, which means it was ready to record. It received that MIDI note and immediately recorded it. It's a little bit lower, and this happens just because the notes from the SP404 mk2 get sent over, even though it's digitally being sent, they just get recorded a little bit lower. So you might need to go back in and do like an edit and use tools to normalize. But it does work. It totally works. It's fun. And we can, again, just record stuff really quick. So the problem, though, is, as I said, we cannot send, hitting these notes doesn't send anything over. Now, if somebody out there in the comments has any suggestions for how to get Koala to do this, there might be something I haven't figured out yet, but this does work. And it's actually as I said, it's a really quick way to get content from your SP404 mk2 over to here on your Koala. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is, with doing this, because we've got like sequence data and stuff here, we can actually come in, whoops, I gotta get out of here. We can come over here and take some of these patterns that we might have playing and play them. Now, you can hear it's playing the pads on the SP404 mk2 right now. The reason for that is because I don't have the other setting you would need to send patterns over, which is under Shift Utility, System, and we want to go sequencer note out. I've currently got that to off. If I turn that on, though, it's going to start sending over the MIDI data. Now, the important thing to know when doing this is it's going to, if you're in the sample view, it's going to go through and like record whatever quick stabs were happening for those notes. So it might not be what you want. And it's not going to send over the pitching up and down data very, very well. That can be problematic. But with that said, oops, I guess still got to exit out of here. Got the microphone in my face, so it's hard to see everything going on all the screens. Anyway, I can come over here. As you can see, it's basically doubling up and playing things. So you might wonder, how do I stop that from happening? Well, if you hit exit and pattern, we can do, what is it, Shift and bank A. We're on bank A. We can drop the volume all the way down to 0. then it will only be playing whatever is recorded over here on in Koala. And it'll still trigger the pads on the SP404 mk2, but come back over. You can hear it's playing it different, partly because some of these samples I've recorded in are different. Some of it is because it's not, as I said, it's not sending the pitch up and down data, but there's some interesting things just because we can do this. We can hit record and get that like note data over here. So we at least have something we could start playing with. You can hear it's doubling up. Again, might not be what you want because the BPM here says 89.9. This is 154. There's a lot of things you have to sync up to get it to work correctly. But again, it does work if you take the time to kind of play with it. I'm going to put this in the trash. I don't need it. But yeah, this is just me messing around a little bit. I'll take some time in the future to see if I can come up with a better workflow or process. But I figured even though this doesn't really answer Monsterism's question of can we take sequence data from Koala and send it to the SP404 mk2, which I totally get because having like this nice grid view would be really cool. We can do some things from the SP404 mk2 and send it over to Koala and maybe get some like different ideas or different workflows and things. Anyway, guys, thanks for stopping by. Keep having fun. Keep making music. Remember, if it sounds good, it is good. And peace.